Quick question. Think of your favorite player at this World Cup. I know you got someone in mind. Okay, now, without Googling it, guess what month they were born in? If you guess November or December, you're probably wrong. Here's why I know that. There's a study that looked at FIFA's own Under-17 World Cup squads, and they found out that 40% of those players were born in the first 3 months of the year. That is January, February, and March. But only 16% were born in the last 3 months, October, November, and December. Now, that's a big gap. And it's not because kids born in January are just naturally more talented. It's because of something hidden in the way football picks its players. And I bet you, once you see it, you will never watch this tournament the same way again. I'm just Blue Kelly, and this is the first episode of a new series I'm calling The Hidden Science of the World Cup. It is 6 episodes, 6 strange but true things hiding inside the tournament you're currently watching. So, sit tight and let's get into it. Here's the thing. Most countries split youth football into age groups using one cutoff date, January 1st. So, say you're playing under 10s this year. It doesn't matter if your birthday is January 2nd or December 30th. As far as the system is concerned, you're the same age. You're going to play in the same team and you're all going to have the same expectations. But here's the problem. Those 2 kids are actually different age group. A child born in January and a child born in December could be almost 11 months apart. They may be same age group on paper, but nearly an entire year apart in real life. Now, when you're 25, 11 months doesn't matter at all. Nobody notices. But when you're 8 years old, 11 months is huge. Think about it. An 8-year-old who is 11 months older is usually taller, they are faster, stronger, and better coordinated. Their brain and body have had almost a whole year to grow. And in a sport like football, where speed and strength matter so much early on, that gap is massive. This actually has a name, and scientists call it the relative age effect. And funnily enough, it wasn't even first discovered in football. No. It was found in Canadian ice hockey back in 1984. Here's where it gets really interesting, because that little head start doesn't just last one season. It builds on itself year after year. Let's call them the January kids and the December kids, just to keep things simple and clear, easy to follow. The January kids, the ones born early in the year, they do better in their first few years of football. And this isn't because they are more talented, but because they are bigger and more developed for their age. So coaches tend to notice them. They get put onto the better teams. They get better coaching, better playing time, and they play more tougher games against tougher players. Meanwhile, the December kids born late in the year, they look less impressive next to the January kids. Again, this isn't because they are less talented. They are just less physically developed right now. But coaches don't usually think right now things that are temporary. They just see a kid who isn't standing out, and that impression sticks. So the December kids get less coaching attention, fewer minutes on the field, and less exposure to high-level games. And honestly, sometimes they just lose confidence and quit the sport altogether. Here's the sad part. By the time puberty kicks in and evens out that physical gap, which it does for almost everyone eventually, it is too late. The January kids have already had years of better coaching and more confidence behind them. The December kids never really got that chance to catch up because, again, the system fitted them out long before their bodies ever had a fair shot. There's actually data on this. One study tracked young players who'd been labeled talented by age 7, and they found that 14% of them were born in January, and only 3% were born in December. A study from 2023 found that kids born in the last 3 months of the selection year are 4 times less likely to make it to elite level than kids born in the first 3 months. That is shocking. Now, here's the part that actually proves all of this, and honestly, it's my favorite part. Think about it this way. Let's say if December really was just an unlucky month, if there was something about being born late in the year that made you worse at football, right? Then this pattern should show up everywhere, all the time, no exceptions. But it doesn't. And England is a perfect example of why. You see, England doesn't use January 1st as its cutoff date, like almost every other football country does. England instead and historically use September 1st because that is tied to their school year. Now, think about what that means. In England, the old kids in any age group are not the January babies, they are the September babies. And when researchers actually studied English football, guess what they found? The whole pattern flips. In England, it is kids born September through December who are overrepresented, the exact same ones that get fitted out almost everywhere else in the world. That is an astounding revelation, and I want that to sink in for a second. We're talking about the same calendar, same kids, same sport, but change one cutoff date and totally different group of birth months suddenly becomes the talented group. Yeah, that is the proof. So you see, it was never really about talent. It's about one boring line on a calendar drawn by some administrator decades ago, quietly deciding which kids would look talented and which kids would be pushed aside, basically. Now, let's take a step further, because to be honest, this was never really a football story to begin with. Football just happens to make it visible because football has a World Cup, and a World Cup puts everything on TV for billions of people to see. But the same exact pattern shows up in ice hockey, rugby, volleyball, and this is the most shocking part, in regular school classrooms. Think about kids born right after their school's cutoff date. Year after year, they are the oldest in their classes, and research shows those kids are more likely to get labeled gifted early on, more likely to get in advanced classes, and more likely to be seen by teachers as just naturally sharper. And once a kid gets that label, gifted, talented, promising, it tends to stick. They get more attention, more opportunities, more confidence, and that keeps building year after year, and sometimes for their entire lifetime. So, no, the World Cup didn't create this problem. It's just the biggest and brightest stage where a hidden bias, one that is actually baked into almost every age-based system on the planet, finally becomes impossible to ignore. But what are we doing about it? The good news is this. Some football federations are actually trying to fix this now. There's a method called bio-banding, where instead of grouping kids by their birth year, you group them by physical maturity. So an early developing 11-year-old isn't automatically steamrolling a late developing 11-year-old. And yes, I know it is not perfect. It costs money. It's complicated to organize, not easy. And a lot of youth coaches are more focused on winning Saturday's game than long-term firmness. So it's still a hard sell, I get it, but it is a start. So here's my conclusion and what I want you to do. Next time you're watching any match in this tournament and the commentator says something like, you can just see this talent in this kid, I want you to think back to this video, because look, I agree, some of that talent is completely real. Yes, these are the best players on the planet, no question. But some of what we call talent was never really talent at all. It was just an 11-month head start, handed out by accident, before any of those players were even old enough to do anything to earn it. And The part that actually gets me are those players we are not watching today. The ones who got fitted out at 8 years old just because they were born in the wrong month, in the wrong country, or under the wrong cutoff date. We will never know how good they could have been. So, you see, nothing is as ordinary as it looks. Not even something like raw natural talent. With that being said, I'm just Blue Kelly, and episode 2 of this series is coming next week. It's about something even stranger, and we'll talk about it. Why the best team usually doesn't actually win. Yeah, and that includes the World Cup. So, subscribe, and I'll see you there. Until next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye.